Hello and welcome to this lens flare video tutorial. Here I'm going to show you how to apply lens flare effects to your portraits. So here we have the original portrait, and as you can see it's all very nice. We're going to add an extra element of depth by adding lens flare. So our final result will look just like this. So we'll get straight into it, and I'll just close down our after file. And before we go straight in and start to apply lens flare, we're just going to play around with the portrait itself just to get a better colour and tone which will better suit lens flare being applied. So the first thing we're going to do is just a very quick bit of retouching. So I'll zoom into our model's face, and what we want to do is just to remove some of these darker lines and blemishes from the model. So the first tool I'm going to use is the patch tool. Very quickly just going to draw underneath the eye. Make a selection, left click, drag and drop that onto the cheek, and as you can see that's just lightened up the darker areas underneath her eye. There's also a little bit of shadow here on her nose, so again with the patch tool just drag and drop, and we've helped to remove that as well. Now there's a few blemishes around on the face, so I'm going to quickly remove those using the spot healing brush. Start up here. Very simply, just find where the blemishes are, left click, and you'll very quickly remove those. Okay, very quick bit of retouching. If we just have a look at the before and after. So this is before and after, and you can just see how that's just cleaned up the face a little bit and taken away some of those blemishes and also the dark patches underneath the eyes. So with that done, we just need to warm up the tones within the image a little bit. So I'm going to do that using a curves adjustment layer. So if we go down to adjustment layers and select curves, then I'm going to go into my red channel. Very simply just going to put a point dead center, just increase that a little bit. So I've got an input value of about 126. So a very small mid-tone change to the red channel. Now I'm going to select the blue channel. Again, just in the center, but I'm going to drag that down into the bottom right quarter. This time I'm going to have an output value of 119, an input value of about 139. Once I'm happy with that, just close that down, just quickly look at before and after, and you can just see how that's helped to warm the skin tones within the image. Now it's a little bit more than I want, but I'm just going to decrease the layer opacity to 38 just to get the effect that I want. You can see that's very subtle, just warming up those tones. Now that I've done that, I just want to decrease the sort of mid-tone contrast to reflect an image that's been taken into the light to create the lens flare. So again, down to my adjustment layers, up to levels, and just going to increase the mid-tones to 1.24. And as I've done that, you can see I've given more preference over to the highlights, and that's just helped to lighten the mid-tones of the portrait. So very subtle effect. Just click the X to close that down, and now I want to flatten those two adjustment layers down onto the background layer. So layer options, simply go flatten image, and we're back to just having our background layer. Now we're ready to apply the lens flare. So if we go to filter, down to render, and down to lens flare, drag the box over to the right hand side. Lens type I want to have as my 50 to 300mm zoom. Now that's the default setting. I just want to move my preview all the way over to the top right hand side of the preview window. Now at the moment the lens flare isn't really having that much influence on the picture. We've got a little highlight on the top right. So I'm just going to increase the brightness up to about 162%. Now just make sure that preview is exactly where I want it, and as you move it around you can just see how that adjusts the effect of the lens flare. So it's just going to drag it back up to the top right, click OK to apply, and now we can see how that lens flare has added itself to the portrait. So very quick and easy, that's how to apply a lens flare effect to your portraits.